With the Senate focused on impeachment this week, the House is working out details of the Biden administration proposed $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. It would fund everything from local governments to school safety. And as Jake Holter reports from our Washington bureau, it could put money directly in Americans' pockets if it's approved.
Andrew Shagru, the Assistant Director of Policy and Advocacy at the Arizona Center for Economic Progress, says Arizonans need that help now.
1 in 9 don't have enough to eat, 1 in 6 aren't caught up on rent, and 1 in 3 can't afford their usual household expenses. And so it's time for Congress to act on this, in order to help Arizonans on this.
Critics like Arizona Republican Representative David Schweikert say they want to get relief money out, but there's such a thing as too big and that relief needs to be more targeted.
Once again, we're going to be sending stunning amounts of money to places that it's going to just sit in a bank account. It's going to go to places where it's not actually creating that velocity, that multiplier effect of helping those who are suffering.
Opponents point out that the latest plan comes just over a month after the $900 billion COVID aid package was signed into law, and billions from that plan are still unspent. Others say the plan was too little too late, which is why the larger package is needed now. Dave Wells, the research director at the Grand Canyon Institute, says the latest stimulus could have a huge impact on Arizona.
A family of 4 is going to get $5,600 if they're below the income levels, and that's going to be a huge effect for them to be able to get themselves out of a huge hole that many of them have.
He says some people will save this money, but most will spend it, which will stimulate the economy.
But people will spend it relatively soon, and again, that's going to help Arizona businesses quite a bit. I mean, it's a big reason why the Arizona state budget is in such relatively good shape is because of all this money that's coming from the federal government this year.
Lawmakers are currently debating who should get the stimulus payments, with some saying wealthy households don't need it. But Shagru notes that some salaries have dropped sharply in the past year. The Center for Economic Progress found that 30% of households making more than $100,000 last year saw a loss of income since the pandemic began.
The risk of doing too little, it far outweighs the risk of doing too much when it comes to relief for families that have been struggling throughout the pandemic.
The House approved the Senate amended budget resolution on Friday and are working towards making the COVID relief bill go into effect by mid-March. In Washington, Jake Holter, Cronkite News.